Sec 4 EMF lesson 20 additional practice. Okay, evaluate the following. So in this type of integration, these are what we call boundaries. Okay, so the number on top has to be bigger than the number below. We usually use this to find the area under the graph. Okay, so when you're writing the boundary, I repeat again, the number on top must be bigger than the number at the bottom. Okay, so let's evaluate this. So before I do that, right, 2x times square root x can be rewritten as 2x to the power of 3 over 2. Then we proceed to do the integration. So when we integrate 2x to the power of 3 over 2, is what we get, okay? So we want to write it a bit neater. So we 4 over 5, x to the power of 5 over 2. Now the boundary will now be written at the side 4 and 1. So what does this mean is, we're going to let x equals to 4. So what is the value? Then we let x equals to 1. What is the value? You minus this two value, you get the answer. Okay? So replace x with 4, replace x with 1, minus off the two values. So you get 24 whole 4 over 5. So what is 24 whole 4 over 5? It is the area under the graph from the region where x equals to 1 starts till x equals to 4. Okay? Okay, question 2. So let's do the same thing as what we did for question 1. So this time around, make sure you convert your calculator into radian mode. Okay, now let's proceed to the integration of 2 cosine 2x. So leave the 2 outside there. Cosine 2x will become sine 2x. And then we do the reciprocal for the 2, okay? So 2 times half is just 1. So just sine 2x bracket pi over 4 and 0. Okay, now use the radian mode. Key in what happens when x equals to pi over 4 and what happens when x equals to 0. This is what you get. Key in your calculator. You have 1 minus 0, which is 1. Okay, part B. So let's do the integration for 3 secant square x. So leave the 3 alone. So it comes 3 tangent x bracket. And the boundary will be pi over 3 and 0. So go and find out what happens when x equals to pi over 3 and what happens when x equals to 0. Minus off the two values. You will get 3 square root 3 minus 0. And the answer is just 3 square root 3. Okay, part C. So now the boundary here is pi over 8 and 0. Okay, so let's do the integration of 1 minus 2 sine 4x. Okay, so we integrate that, 1 will become x. Now the 2, just leave it alone. The sine will become cosine 4x, and you take the 4 and you write the reciprocal, 1 over 4. Okay, then put the boundary at the side. So now go and find out what happens when x equals to pi over 8. Find that value. And go and find the value when x equals to 0. Subtract these two values, that is the answer. Okay, make sure your calculator is in radian mode. Okay, so key this inside calculator. We should get pi over 8 minus 1 over 2. Okay. Question 3. So evaluate the following. So now this is exponential. So same thing. So when you integrate e to the power of minus 3x over 2, just take the coefficient from the power, or actually you do a dy dx on the power, you get minus 3 over 2, right? Then you just write that down as the decimal, okay? Then you leave the entire thing as the numerator. Then once you're done with that, write the boundaries at the side. You can make the expression inside the bracket to look a bit neater. So we minus 4 over 3 with the following. So go and find out what happens when x goes to 2, x goes to 0. So this is what you will get. So final answer will be minus 4 over 3 e cubed plus 4 over 3. Okay, part B, same thing. Do the integration of the expression inside first. So it's just 3e to the power of x plus 2x. Then the boundary is from ln 3 and 0, okay? So just replace x with ln 3 and replace x with 0. minus off the two values, you should get 6 plus 2 over 2 plus 5x, okay? So when you take out the 2, right, you actually get 2 bracket 1 over 2 plus 5x, right? So when you integrate 1 over anything, is usually a ln expression, okay? So this is how I want you to write it. So you leave the 2 alone, you become 1 over 5x plus 2, right? The 1 over 5x plus 2 will become ln 5x plus 2. And make sure you take the coefficient of 5x, which is 5, and write its reciprocal. So this is what you get. Now replace x with 3, find the value. Replace x with 0, find the value, and subtract it, okay? So you get 2 over 5, the following. So ln 17 minus ln 2 will become ln 17 over 2. So your final answer is 2 over 5 ln 17 over 2, or 8.5. Okay, question 4. Now this one is a trigger identity. So you write down left-hand side equals to the following. Okay. So once you write it in this manner, what you want to do is just expand this out like how you expand a special product. Okay. The a square plus 2ab plus b squared. Write it down in this format. So the sine square 2x plus cosine square 2x will give you 1. Okay, so you rearrange it, the sine square plus cosine square will give you 1. And 2 sine x cosine x, using the formula sheet, it will give you sine 4x. So it'll be 1 plus sine 4x. Okay, so this expression equals to 1 plus sine 4x, right? So make sure you write right-hand side. So for part B, right, use the expression on the right. So this is what you have, the sine 2x plus cosine 2x bracket square, replace it with 1 plus sine 4x. Then you do the integration of 1 plus sine 4x. So 1 will become x, sine 4x will become minus cosine 4x. Now take the coefficient of 4x, which is 4, and write its reciprocal like this. Then go and find out what happens when x equals to pi over 4. Get the value. Go and find out what happens when x equals to 0. Find that value and subtract it. Okay? So you get pi over 4 plus half. Okay, question 5. So question 5, express the following in partial fractions. So partial fractions is a topic that you learn in Sec 3. So in Sec 4, you will finally realize that partial fractions is mainly used to help you solve integration-based questions, okay? So you're going to split it into a over x plus 2 plus b over x plus 1 plus c over x plus 1 squared. Go and find out your a, b, c by cross multiplying. Okay, so if you let x equals to minus 1, you will eliminate a and b completely, giving you c. If you let x equals to minus 2, you will eliminate b and c completely, giving you a only, okay? Okay, so when x equals to minus 2, so minus 2 means you eliminate c and b completely, giving you just a. So a equals to 1. Next, when x equals to minus 1. So when x equals to minus 1, you are eliminating a and b completely, giving you just c. So c equals to 1. Okay, so once you have a and c, you can choose any value for x to find out what is b. So 0 will be an easier one. So just replace x with 0, replace a with 1, and c with 1 as well. You will get 2b equals to minus 2 and b equals to minus 1. So now you can write your partial fractions in this format. Okay, so now we're going to do the integration of this one right here, which you will have to just write it in this format, then do the integration. Okay? So replace this with the partial fractions. So now in most cases, you get ln, okay, especially the first two terms. So go and proceed with the integration now. So you have ln x plus 2 minus ln x plus 1. Now over here, you just add 1, okay? So you come minus 1, right? Then you write down minus 1 down below. Then the coefficient of x is 1. We write that down as well, okay? So this is how it look like in a more neater manner. Okay, now you just replace x with 5 and you just replace x with 0. So replace x with 5, you'll get ln 7 minus ln 6 plus, sorry, minus 6 to the power of minus 1 over here. Minus, x equals to 0, you get ln 2, ln 1, and this is just 1 to the power of minus 1. Okay, so key in your values in terms of ln because the final answer is also in terms of ln. So you get ln 7 minus ln 6 minus 1 over 6 minus ln 2 plus ln 1 plus 1. Okay, so recall for ln, right? If it's minus means division for 7 and 6, another division, and then multiplication. Right, so this will be 7 over 6 minus ln 2 plus 5 over 6. Okay. So ln 7 over 6 minus ln 2, right? You become 7 over 6 divided by 2, which will become ln 7 over 12 plus 5 over 6. So therefore, you have shown that it equals to the right-hand side, okay? Now take note over here, right? So this becomes 7 over 6, then it's a ln 2, right? So in case you're wondering what happens to the ln 1, okay, it will multiply together, giving you just ln 2 again, okay? The 2 times 1 will just give you 2 again. Okay, so that's all for today. I'll see you on the next one, right? Take care. Bye.